Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first episode of Badgering the Witness. I have a very special guest tonight. Before we get into that, I want to take just a second here. I had a little notification here that JB is continuing their gift sub from SL8260. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. Guys, today is going to run a little bit different. If you I'm not gonna have alerts. There's gonna be little things. We're gonna be having a chat with a friend of mine, and we're gonna go through that. Fancy sale. I know. I had to do it right. We had to do it fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce my my guest for today. This man is a very good friend of mine. Someone that I mean, nothing airs on the Badger Sale channel without going through our guest day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on my very good friend, Hookedonphoenix9, aka Zach. Zach, buddy, can you hear me?
I can, Badger. Oh gosh, I need to meet you on stream. Hi.
Hey,
hi, chat.
man, how you doing? Guys, if you guys don't know Zach, he's a very talented streamer. Someone that I would consider, I don't know, I don't want to say a stream starter, but you're a very good stream hype man.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's easy to hype up good content, though. We're just lucky to be surrounded by a lot of it in this community.
Well, I know that, you know, a lot of other people besides me really appreciate what you do, and I know I've found a lot of very cool streamers through you. But I'd actually, before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you a bit, kind of I see tail.
Yes, there's a little bit of tail coming in.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to ask you, man, you know, really, what got you into Twitch in the first place? Because, you know, for me, when I first hopped on this platform, you were one of the first people that I really ever, like, a name that would constantly pop up in chat that I'd see frequently. I met you through Crow, and, you know, and I always thought, oh yeah, you're Hooked on Phoenix. And I remember for me, it was a big deal. Like, when you first showed up in my stream, it was someone that I knew through other people coming into me. And I'm curious, you know, I mean, I know you've got a little bit of background on here, and I'd like to hear how you got started.
Sounds like Shaba wants to take this one away. I apologize.
Shaba, no, it's good. It's my real guest here.
So I got into Twitch originally not having an account for years and years, right? I had used it solely to watch video games, like Halo tournaments, Smash Brothers tournaments, some Dota 2 tournaments, a bunch of things that were going straight to Twitch. And so I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I can watch the YouTube video tomorrow, or I can watch it live today on Twitch. So it was really just from a love of video games is where it started. Obviously in those streams, you don't really talk to anyone, right? The announcers are just casting the game. They're not really like talking to you as a person.
There's no real participation there.
Yeah. It's only after a little bit that I finally started watching some of the top of Twitch. So I actually started watching Jared, Summit1G, who is now like one of the most subscribed to streamers on Twitch. Really funny dude, great personality, good at the game. That helped a lot. And from there, it got me interested in like who these people are behind the camera and who they are. And then at some point last summer, I just found myself in I don't know if you guys are going to know him. His name's Eric. He used to be a really small streamer.
Never heard of him. Never
small streamer, big head. Great guy though, right? Read every message that came through chat and was like super good, right? I showed up and I said one thing in chat and immediately was like, oh hey, I haven't seen you here before. Like, hi, how are you? How'd you find me? Despite the fact that he was in the middle of trying to beat one of the final bosses of Breath of the Wild with only bombs. So, and that's where I learned about communities, and I started to really fall in love with like the ability to engage with people on this platform and not just to have like really good gameplay or good content.
Yeah.
And that happened to be where we met.
It is where we met, and I'd say I had a very similar thing to you. Is the only time I had been on Twitch was to watch other things. I watch Overwatch League. I watch, I had seen a few events, but in a mutual friend Eric's stream, I had the same experience where it was, it was definitely about the community more than just what you were doing. And I think that for you and me both was something that when we went into streaming ourselves, that's what it was all about, right? Just starting our own communities. I'd say you're someone that I mean, more so than anyone else I know. I really do think you're a very community forward person, and not just for your own. I mean, I said this again at the beginning, but like I've met so many people, up and coming streamers through you, and I'm curious, what do you look for in a content creator? That the kind of people that you like to show their communities and help build up. Because I know you've done a ton for me, and I know you're doing a ton out there for other people too, and I'm curious what drives you to that.
So I mean, I had a lot of folks that were incredibly kind when I was first starting, right? Mm-hmm. That I felt like I could always reach out to ask questions about what the hell is OBS and how do I green screen my camera, right? And like simple things like that yeah, I can Google, but like it's still a lot better when you have someone tell you like, hey, this is what transcoding is, and this is why you pay attention to it, right? Like I
didn't know what transcoding was till you told me. So
this is how you do raids and what they're used for as a streamer, right? Both to support people who are your friends and kind of, interconnect your communities, but also to say, hey, I've been lurking in this chat and I think this person's really cool. I want to get to know them. I want them to know that I'm a streamer and my chat fucking spams some cute things. So,
your chat does spam cute things, but in like the best way possible. It's very positive.
Luckily, they're only loot in my chat, so we don't go and like raid some like precious person like Lysol and then just go like all like talking about sex and other things.
Right.
Holy Hexstar.
Oh.
So yeah, I a lot of those like soft skill things about Twitch and other things, I had some really great people that I got to turn to be able to talk to about that, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I started being able to give that back to the community, that's what I really wanted to do, right? One of my favorite channels in my Discord right now is called Stream Advice. And we've got a lot of people who have recently moved into Twitch and are really starting to explore streaming. And I think that that's awesome. I would rather them like have a better first few weeks than I did. I remember streaming for one person and not knowing that my audio was scuffed until 2 hours into the stream.
Oh, we've all been there, man. I know I for one really appreciate everything you've taught me. I feel like I'm still learning from you. I feel like, you know this platform better than I do, which is nice to have someone to turn to for advice. And I was actually going to talk to you a bit about that, about your Stream Advice channel and what you're doing with that, because I think having a guide like that is a really valuable resource. If you don't mind me asking, I'd love to get into a little conversation with you here about, I think you and I both get asked very frequently, how do I start streaming? What do I need? Where do I go? How do I start? And if you're willing to, like, let's get into it. I mean,
at the end of the day, the way you start streaming is you hit the go live button, right?
Right.
And there's a whole lot that goes into building up the confidence and like getting the will and getting technically set up just to click go live, right?
Right.
But the other thing, and I think more of like what people ask when they're asking this is, what do I do? Like I get in front of the camera and it's like, great. Do I like just make silly faces at chat all day and just go like, oh, okay, this is my shtick, right? Like,
yeah,
it's really just, what are you going to do, right? And that's really for the person who's about to click live to decide. If you want to just like click go live and play, League of Legends and not really talk, that's perfectly fine. You can do it. Twitch will let you. But, you know,
Yeah.
are folks going to come to your chat? I'm a gambling man. I'll say no.
Yeah.
If you're the most disgusting League player ever, are people going to come to your chat? Still probably no, right? Because you're also in a category with tens of thousands of other people playing it, right?
Yeah.
Why are they going to click on you? Maybe eventually someone will stumble into your chat and they'll stick around because it's like, well, I got to take notes and figure out how to jungle with this character, right?
Yeah, right.
But, you know, you're not really going to go big. Same thing if you play a game that has nobody else in the community that nobody likes. Like, no one's going to click on you. There's an interesting balance between, like, figuring out where the people are, but where you can still stick out.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about League and it's you know, or I'll bunch that in with like Dota. But those are games that I don't play. I've never been interested in. I don't really want to. Honestly, I don't have much interest in watching whatsoever. But what happens is I will find a friend of a friend on a stream, or something will show up in my recommended, and I've found people that I will go out of my way if they're watching League or if they're playing League, because they're fun to watch play it, but even more so, they've got the fun personality. They interact with chat. They participate in their community, and that's the draw for me with this platform that I don't think you get with platforms like YouTube. And YouTube is, they're trying with their live function, but it just doesn't have the same personal interaction that you get from Twitch.
I mean, even if you really love a YouTuber, and let's say there's someone who answers every question or answers every comment in YouTube, right? Or tweets back and tries to reply to every tweet that they get, right?
Right.
Is it still the same as someone being like, yo, Oliver Cherries, you're heckin' great. I love you. And like, in the moment, you can talk and connect with people and they can respond to you. Like, that's something that's incredibly cool about this, that you can do on some other platforms, right? You can do on Instagram Live. You can live broadcast to Facebook and do other things. But I mean, this is a platform that's built around being able to respond to each other, like, and that's super cool.
Well, I'm gonna take a minute here to segue that now into a quick moment to Jesus. We've gotten a ton of support from all the wonderful people in chat over the past minute here, so I'll let you smile away there. Guys, thank you so much for that hype train. We'll go here. Timberdog, thank you so much for two months. Yeah, thank you for that tier 1 sub. Pendra, thank you for gifting the tier 1 sub to K-Swiss. T-Sugar Saw, thank you for the 100 bits. Rel, thank you for the 100 bits. Bread, thank you for the 15 bits. Star, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And oh god, I can't. I've got chat pulled up like right here, and then I go move over, and there's Zach just like smiling with the thing. And Pedro, thank you for gifting the sub to a tier. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the support. This is why I wanted to have you on as the first guest. I was thinking about, like, well, of all my stream friends that I want to bring on, who would I feel the most comfortable talking to for easing into a platform, or a format that I haven't tried yet. And I was like, oh, it's got to be Zach. Like, Zach's the one I go to. And I think I don't think people realize how involved you are with the Badger sales stream on a behind the scenes level. You're more than, I mean, obviously you're one of my mods, but even beyond that, I mean, you are seriously the guy I go to with, like, every time I have a question about, like, is this a good idea for stream? And, like, real talk, I mean, Zach's the guy who he came up with Badgering the Witness. He made our little bumper there with the courtroom. And so I know it's,
I mean, one of the big things is I not only as a friend, I would say this, but, like, even if you were a stranger, I legitimately enjoy your content. And I think that you have the right kind of ideas and the right kind of things to succeed. And so if I can fucking jump on those coattails and give you the little bit of spark or the push every once in a while to be like, yeah, you're thinking about giving up on gameplay, like, get the hell out of here, right? Like, find those other categories that are gonna impassion you, right?
Well,
like,
I appreciate that, so much. And I think a lot of people, on this platform, are looking for, and then maybe this is different for other people, but my experience, on this platform was like I came into this and tried to replicate what I know when I started streaming. I only, when I started streaming, I watched two people. I watched Point Crow and Architect, and they both played games. That's what they did. And when I started streaming, my thought was, well, okay, well, this is the way the platform works. I gotta do a Breath of the Wild challenge because that's what I watched.
I feel like every streamer goes through the same kind of evolutions that Twitch does, right? And that they start off and really the big games are like catch your eye, right? Like I want to go live and it's like, yeah, I play Valorant all the time or I play Overwatch all the time. Like those are big popular games. Lots of folks have played those. Like why don't I get into those, right? And then they start to realize it's just like, oh, right, everyone's doing that. So what are we special? For Twitch, it started being people started branching out and playing other games, right? They found out that I can play a 90s arcade game on Twitch and get a ton of people to watch because they're going to be like, you're playing Crazy Taxi right now? That game slaps so hard.
Right,
like, man, right? And on the same point, Twitch really didn't have things like art channels until the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, Pokemon Go, like in terms of Twitch history, was a huge part of that, right? Pokemon Go made it so that folks can play a video game, because back in the day you had to be primarily playing a video game, or at least playing a video game to like have your Twitch stream not get taken down or banned.
Right.
And they would play Pokemon Go, but like travel the world. And that's when Twitch really started to see like, heck, you don't have to be playing a video game. And you don't have to be, playing Souls and doing some silly challenge run or, doing a speed run or even just like being disgusting at Counter-Strike. You can just be yourself, provide some kind of interesting personality, humor, kindness, like, and folks will come and folks will watch.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I think people don't realize about the platform is you don't have to be a game player anymore. With the introduction of all the IRL categories, with the introduction of food and drink, art, etc., we've come to a point now where you can build a large community, or not large, but whatever size you want, you can do it on this platform. And I guess, that's something that I wish I had known from the get-go, because I might not have started as a gaming streamer, but that's what I knew on the platform. That's what I went. And so I think when people are considering whether they want to do Twitch, or is Twitch a platform I can use, I would have the mindset originally of, oh, well, I'm not playing video games. This isn't the platform for me. But it's changed so much to the point where it absolutely is, and people can build a cooking community.
I do want to push back on you with that, because the one thing is, I mean, and you and I talk about this off stream all the time.
Yeah,
it's nerve-wracking to click go.
Oh,
like you like really the moments before you click go live feel like an eternity. Both because you're super excited for it to finally happen, right? You're super excited to like click play and have some of your regulars come in and say hi. Like I haven't talked to Ember in a while, or I haven't talked to, whomever else. Like I can't wait till I start streaming to talk to them. But at the same time, it's just like, am I gonna like choke today? Am I gonna like say something dumb and dox myself? Am I not gonna be funny or like be entertaining today? Like you get hit with a whirlwind of emotions. Yeah. When you're playing a game, you can hide behind that, and you have additional content to like contribute to that, right? I mean, there are times where I'm falling flat, but luckily something hype's about to happen in the game, and I can just like ride that out. When you're going live with something like this, like I have all the respect in the world for you, because like you've got nothing to hide behind, right? Like,
yeah, trust me.
You are the content. You're the entirety of whether the stream's gonna like flop or succeed. So
no, in all honesty, I've got a lot of respect for people that make a career out of like just chatting streams. Because sitting and talking, and even talking to chat for hours on end, I mean, I've tried it a couple times, and every time I go into it, I start the stream just not knowing what I can, what to talk about, and so it's, and that goes into, even normal streams. I more often than not go into the stream with the mindset of this stream isn't going to go well. And I think that's a problem on me, and that's a problem I need to get away from. But I think it's something that a lot of people, as you're saying, push and go live can be stressful. I mean, just to put yourself out there.
I mean, I think it is a good mindset to have if you can use it in a positive way, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are being critical of yourself before you go live and you're saying, am I going to be chipper
mm-hmm.
And like actually be able to produce and be entertaining today? That's an important question for you to ask before you click that button, mm-hmm. right? Because there are days you're just better off not streaming. I mean, if you're having a bad mental health day, if you're just really down in the dumps because something bad happened in your personal life or at work or whatever, like you can bring that to stream and you can bring your community down. And sometimes your community is okay with that. They want a somber stream, but like, you got to be mindful of it. I think it's a good attitude if you can use it to drive yourself to make better content, right? If you're about to click go on a YouTube video to upload it and you don't feel good about it, fucking go back to the drawing board. Like, honestly, some of my best edits are the ones that I've had fully fucking made. I already had the MP4 ready to go. And I said, this is shit. I'm just like, I'm going to start over. Like, I can't even salvage this.
Just feel like you can't put it out there. Yeah.
And if you can use that in a good way to better produce content and better curate for your community, like, great. But if you're using it and you're never resetting and you're never like celebrating what you're doing, or you're finding it difficult to celebrate what you're doing, like that's when that becomes like way problematic.
Absolutely. And I know for a lot of people, sorry, I gotta get up. Stay hydrated there. I know a lot of people, me included, when they start streaming, and even well into streaming, you got a whole pitcher. You're so prepared. Man, I just brought a glass. I'm underprepared. I'm the water guy. I'm underprepared. I don't even have my whole big jug.
As the hydrates come spamming in.
There you go. We'll get a little sippy sip there. Where's my gallon? My gallon is downstairs. I didn't bring it to the office. Hydrates for both of you. Is that get some hydrates? By the way, Oliver, thank you so much for the 400 bits. I really appreciate that. Pendra, thank you. I already said that. Did I already say that? I already said that. But thank you again, Pendra. You're a champ. Sorry, I totally got sidetracked there. But I know a lot of people get frustrated by the. Something just fell off my desk. Wouldn't be a Badger stream without being totally scuffed. I know the numbers can be nerve-wracking in both directions, in all honesty. If you
star of the show right here.
Oh, honestly, hold on. Let me I didn't build a scene. I spaced and didn't build a
full screen me. That's better. That's probably better off. No, how do you look in this? Come here.
When I started, I know you and I have both experienced the same thing. First few streams, it's like, who am I streaming to? It's streaming to one person, and I actually found out my first two streams that for a while, and I don't know if it still does, but having your stream pulled up in your stream manager for a while counted as a view.
It counted as one, and you're just like, oh, someone's watching me the whole time.
Oh my god, I spent the whole of my first couple streams going, hey chat, hey chat, let me ask you a question. Chat, oh, I hope you're enjoying this, chat. And that number never went above one. It turns out that entire time it was just me talking to myself, and then I had a second stream where it was just Laura. And I think one of the things that people that I always tell people when they ask like, how do I start streaming, is market yourself. Because I mean, the first time I ever had more than one viewer in my stream was when I just, through my, I sucked up the bravery to post a link into Point Crow's, Discord promote yourself channel, and all of a sudden I had 6 people watching. And it's so I always tell people it's important to market, to share yourself, but I feel like at a point you can overdo it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but especially if you go it alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, tell me, chat, when's the last time you clicked on a stream where you didn't know anyone in the community and you didn't discover them from a raid or from being told about them from someone else? Like, when's the last time you've legitimately clicked on a stream that you otherwise would have never known about? Badger, do you have one?
I have one, and it's Formula 50/50, but that's because I was specifically going out of my way to go through the food and drink. I was trying to find new food and drink people. But in terms of like things that show up in my recommendeds or anything, I mean, Point Crow was the first one, because probably the last one, because he's what got me to come to this platform. And then since then, it's every time I think I'm, find someone new, I'm like, oh, this is cool, there's a new community. I hop into their chat, and it's like, oh, hey, there's like 5 people I know here. So
half the time Badger just follows me around Twitch. I mean, I will literally be just like chilling in like a community that's like 8 yawns away, right? Like, right. I had a good old buddy in college who recommended a stream to me, or I just like opened up Twitter and I was like, who the hell's playing, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger? Like, I haven't seen that game in a while. And then Badger will just come in and be like, hello, hi Phoenix. And I'm just like, oh, right, I'm friends. And I just paste whatever stream I'm at on like the friends, like all of my friends' Twitches. But yeah, I mean, you don't, right? And so my point is, if you're not out there on Twitter, if you don't happen to be in a category where people are looking for fresh and new content,
right? So
there has to be people in it, but also they have to be able to find you, right? They can't be in league where you're up against 10,000 people. You have zero to no chance, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, eventually, if you just throw the hours at it, people will come. Mm-hmm. But is it what, is it people are going to stay, right? Especially if you just grind out hours and you're just like, sitting there for 12 hours talking to nobody. Mm-hmm. That's when you often get streamers that are, sitting back, lounging back, and just like, and like that, I don't do this to myself when I'm just sitting here alone, right? I do this for y'all, chat, right? I do this for people that I know that I'm talking to, right? I lie. I definitely do that on my own.
I was going to say, that seems like something I do on my own too, for being honest.
So you need to get yourself out there. Even if it's just you tweet it out, even if it's just you post on Reddit a clip that you had that was funny, even if it's just, hey, I don't feel like publicly pushing this out, but hey, 2 or 3 people I really like, come watch me stream. Can you at least tell me if my audio is scuffed and maybe stick around? Like, it's important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I went through way too many of those early streams where I wasn't pushing myself, and it wasn't until 2 hours in that someone would come in and be like, I can't hear you, dog. Like,
yeah, right.
And that's just like a terrible feeling, because it's like, no wonder the numbers kept going between 1 and 2, because people would come in, they couldn't hear me, the gameplay was okay, and then they would leave.
And then they would leave, right. Atir pointed something out in chat there about just being part of Discord is a huge, an important thing to do and be part of that community. And I would say absolutely yes. It's the way you're going to find people on this platform now, or people are going to find you, is honestly not through Twitch's recommendation system. Twitch's recommended system is fine, but it's going to keep throwing you into categories you already know, or people with viewers in common with streams you watch. So you're not going to find much new stuff. But I mean, speaking from a personal, point of view, I got a fair number of my very early on viewers from playing on Point Crow's Minecraft server, and
Yeah.
being part of Crowcraft, and I met people, that way, who then later, when I would post in the Discord, they would see my name and they go, oh hey, this is that guy I played with on Minecraft. Let's go see what he's doing. And so I'd say it's very important to be part of a community like that to engage people.
So obviously, I mean, if you look at the community, there's a lot of consistency between, it's very Nintendo heavy, right? You know, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, other Nintendo games, like, the new Link's Awakening comes out and Small Ant, Point Crow, a lot of others in the community play it, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing something pretty radically different. So are you like pivoting communities, or are you just doing what you like really have always wanted to do? Like what, because I mean, it's real easy to start off in a community, right?
Right.
But I mean, if you're just sitting here in the ant colony, or in, Team Sparkles, or whatever team you're a part of, or whatever community you're a part of, mm-hmm. and you're just, doing what everyone else in the community is doing, right? You can only grow as fast as the community does, right?
Right.
So is that why you're branching out? Like what's your thinking about where you want your community, right? The Badger community to go.
Yeah. And there's part of me that say, oh, well, now that I've realized gaming content isn't what I want to put out, and that, from the very beginning, something like this is more what I had envisioned. There's part of me that would say, oh, I would have done things differently. I would have started this way, or started with the cooking stuff from the beginning. But at the same time, I don't think that I wouldn't, because what I've coming through Crow's community, and then the other communities I've met along the way, and the people who have come into here and came in originally because I was a guy that played Breath of the Wild, right? That's what I did. I was doing 100% run forever. We played some other games here and there. And if I had just stuck with that, I don't think it would have been, or I'm jumbling up words here. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had an opportunity to then introduce people who normally watch gaming content on this platform to something like a talk show or to cooking streams. And
well, here's the thing, Badger. I mean, we're all multifaceted, right? Yeah. Like we all have mental health issues. So, people like Steph who talk about mental health on her stream, or she previously did, but also played Sekiro and horror games. Yeah. Like you're allowed to have both of those things, right? You're allowed to love Legend of Zelda, right? And like a lot of folks find Crow through Legend of Zelda, right? The silly things that he does, or the fact that he's like pretty regularly the top person in the channel, or the top person on YouTube when you start typing Breath of the Wild, whatever. But they're allowed to have other interests, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, and so I think there's definitely room within a community to like do multiple things, right? I mean, right now, most of my content is on the PS4 because I haven't owned a console in a while. I guess I've owned my Switch for a while, but like I haven't owned like an Xbox or a PlayStation in a while. So there's a lot of exclusive that I've just missed, and I've been super eager to go back and play through. That doesn't mean that I don't share viewers with Lysol and Point Crow and you and folks that are doing stuff radically different, right? I mean, I always get a little self-conscious because I mean my channel has very little filters, as do I, right?
Right.
And I almost intentionally market it as like, yo, come to me and talk about sexuality, or talk about the time you really fucked up, right? Like I don't give a shit. I wear it on my sleeve. Like I will openly tell that to a lot of folks on this platform, because I mean, I want to be real with folks, and yet I still am like, if you look at my like viewers relative to other people in the community, I share them with like Lysol and sucrose and folks that like can be incredibly wholesome, and that's not what they talk about.
Right.
But that's fine.
And I think that's what people appreciate. One of the many things people appreciate about your streams, and something I know I appreciate, is being able to go into your stream and have it be different from the other content I watch, and have it be a place where it's open. You can talk about whatever. You can talk about the the really shitty day you had. You can talk about sexuality. You can talk about mental health issues, and I really really appreciate about that about your streams, or some of the times where people are going crazy in your voice calls, or some one of our mutual friends. And it's so nice to then also be able to have streamers that I watch that would never hurt a fly and just have a super bubbly personality. And so making yourself stand out in a way, I think, is really important to getting started as well, is figuring out who you are, what's special about you, and what can you provide to Twitch as a platform and a community.
I mean, if you go live on Breath of the Wild and you post it in Crow's stream, you might get people that click on you just because you're playing Breath of the Wild.
Right.
But who are you getting to stick around, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you learned after a while, because, I mean, I had already been friends with you. So, like, I would have stuck around with you even though the content wasn't good. It was good. But, I just, to be honest, like, I don't really care that much about Breath of the Wild. Like, I think it's a great game, but I watch a lot of Breath of the Wild. So for you to make Breath of the Wild content, that's going to be like, I'm not here for the person in the bottom left or the bottom right, and I'm here for Breath of the Wild. You have to be doing some absurd stuff, right? I mean, you got to be running the game at an incredibly good level, or you've got to be like getting the challenges before Eric does, or before Smallland does, or before a bunch of people that are now in this category are. So I mean,
and that's one of the things that I'm so fortunate that Point Crow had went out of his way to host my channel time and time again. And it's very interesting for me to see who comes from Point Crow's stream and stays just because I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and other people who stay because they find me entertaining. I get now, when I'm doing non-gaming streams, I have people ask me, well, when are we playing games? And I'm like, well, we're not. I mean, we will, like, when I don't have anything else to do, but I'm trying to move away from that content. And I feel like I kind of dug myself a little bit of a hole, a big Breath of the Wild shaped hole.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing Last of Us, right? And I started playing Last of Us for the first 2.5 months. And I love the game, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of shit in that community right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, basically, so Last of Us 2 is coming out in June, for you, those of you who don't know. It's just about a month away. And some hackers got into some pretty bad leaks about the game and put them out on the internet. And so, unfortunately, that meant that playing The Last of Us meant you would get just the scum of Twitch, right?
Absolutely.
Like the folks that are going to come to your community literally just to get their yucks off ruining your day, right? And so the one stream I was there, I had 3 people with names that were spoiling the game that would just put that in their Twitch username. They would make a new account for that, put the spoilers in my chat, and then they were also the people that were writing N-word and other things in the chat. And just like, I care so much about my community. Like, I didn't want to go through that, but I also didn't care. I know that I have a lot of friends that played The Last of Us back in 2013 when it first came out, and I've been looking forward to this game for 7 years. And now they can't hang out with me without potentially like getting shit about the game spoiled. Like, that fucking crushed me.
Yeah.
I had to put myself on sub only mode, and I had some friends that were like stopping by for the first time, and I was just like, I ended up spending a lot of money that day on subbing people that I knew to my own channel.
I remember that
because I wanted
them
to be able to talk with me still, because that is what was important to me. So, I mean, but you can step away from that game and still be a part of that community. I mean, a lot of my friends who played The Last of Us also play other Naughty Dog games, right? They play Uncharted or other things like that. And so I know that they are a The Last of Us and Naughty Dog streamer, but they're playing Uncharted, so they're kind of safe and like one step removed from the like dickheads who are going to try to come and like spoil the game or just be assholes in it. So, I still hang out in their communities. I'm in their Discords. Like, you can still be part of that community despite the fact that you're moving away from your game.
Absolutely.
And I know that I hurt some people when I stopped playing Last of Us. I tried to start speedrunning the game, and I really started to get burnt out with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to do that because I want to go on and talk about how much I love the game that I'm playing, or play Sonic Forces and be chaotic as hell.
Please do. Please do.
There's no love for that game, okay? I tried. But like, you can step away from that game, and some people are not going to watch, and that's okay. You don't have to watch my stream every day. Heck, I am appreciative when you come in and say hi, even if you can't stick around, right? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That someone just wants to be like, hey, I thought to stop in and say hi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are other folks that are going to stick around for who you are. But that's also important to know, right? Are folks only sticking around for you, or sticking around for the game and the content?
Well, I think we'll go into this in some more detail. I know you're working on your streamer guide, and you've been, so nice to share with me what you're working on, and it's really cool, and I really do encourage you guys to hop over to Zach's Discord and check out what he's working on, because it's something I wish that I had when I started. So it's definitely I for one really appreciate what you're doing, man. I really do.
I'm excited when I get it a little bit more fleshed out and feel more comfortable putting it out. I mean,
yeah,
obviously Badger, but so I'm working on a Google Doc that's going to be available on my stream and a few of my friends' streams like Badger's, for them to put in their Discord and as a resource for, hey, you're interested in streaming? Here's what BTTV is, and here's how to set up your emotes.
Oh,
right?
Dude, I wish I knew what BTTV was when I started. I had people telling me, hey, set up BTTV. I had no idea.
Yeah. You come, and maybe you came from YouTube or you came from Twitter, and you're just like, what the hell is Pog Slide, all right? And why the heck are people saying it? And I mean, I did it too. I just would end up typing Pog Slide. I'm like, I belong. Yeah, Pog Slide, whatever. Right? What is OBS? What does talking to an emote artist and working with them to get emotes mean? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's gonna cover the spectrum from technical how-tos to who are you as a content creator, and what is your brand going to be, to how to build a community, because those are all things that we all have to figure out, and sometimes you're lucky, like Badger and I and others, to just have friends that are going through it with you, and to have people that are established in the community that you can feel like you can ask. But I mean, it can be a really ostracizing experience to go through a lot of this alone.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons that, I mean, if you're a new streamer and you just need someone to like help you out with commands or whatever, just like send me a DM. Like, I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to like talk you through it, and try to help you out. Because I mean, I was there without help, and it sucked.
Yeah,
no, it really sucked.
I'm really, dude. I'm like, again, I'm really glad this is something you're working on. I think it's going to be a really great resource for people in your community and people in other communities as well. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Well, I do want to save some of that for
help work on it. I definitely would love the help.
Oh yeah. So absolutely. Well, I'm really working on it myself, but
none of us do.
Oh god, yeah. this platform, even the largest streamers are still figuring some stuff out. Well, as we move on into our next little section here, let me take a look at my things. Zach, thank you for chatting about all that with me. I think this is going to be a really, again, I'm so stoked that you wanted to be on as my first guest here, because I think you have so much to offer people. And I do want to say, guys, thank you for being here. We're not done yet. We're going to go into some a couple little headlines, little games, something I'm working on here too. But I really appreciate you being here, Zach. I do want to take a minute here to thank today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is my back. that is in a ton of pain because of my crappy chair. So thank you, crappy chair. Now we do not have any sponsors for the show yet, but I swear I'm working on a few things behind the scenes. But we do have a partnership. We are a Stream Gifts partner. If you guys don't know what Stream Gifts is, it's a fantastic service that allows you to send gifts to streamers from without sharing your personal information with the streamer, or the streamer sharing personal information with you. And of course, it means you don't have to pay for a PO box either. If you guys do I think it's Stream Gifts in chat, you can go check them out or scroll into the about boxes. It's a really cool service, and I'm so thrilled to be partnered with them. Moving into our next thing here, let's talk about some headlines. Few things have happened, Zach, lately in the gaming world. A few things that I know I am excited about, and I think you might be too. Zach, did you see the Lumen in the Land of Nanite reveal for Unreal Engine 5?
No, this is the first time. It's been in my pocket as like, I gotta watch this. But honestly, the weekends are when I really catch up for a lot of this stuff. Of course. So, well,
it is honestly, I mean, it's really cool, and I think beyond the reveal of just screenshots of, and I'll be showing a few screenshots on the stream here taken from the from their little reveal thing for Unreal Engine. That's a video game, Badger? That is Unreal Engine 5 running on the PlayStation 5. And it is beautiful.
That is Unreal Engine running on a PlayStation 5, being broadcast as Twitch
on Twitch,
being downloaded by your ISP, and you're seeing that,
and it still looks that good. I mean, it's incredible. So if you didn't see, guys, Epic put out this little. It's like a 20-minute video, and you can go to their website and check it out. I'm not going to get too techie because I don't understand any of it, but basically what they said is this thing is going to render billions and billions and billions of little triangles that make up everything that you're seeing here in these screenshots. And they're saying the way it's going to work is developers are no longer going to have to worry about polygon counts like whatsoever, because the way this thing like renders film grade assets. It's
okay, but like, what's the deal? Are we gonna get like sent like a hard drive for every game that we ever want, or like?
Well, so what it? You'll need to watch the video. They can go into more detail than me. But the way they were running it was on the PS5, and they said some higher end PCs would be able to handle it too, but it basically loads and unloads data really, really fast, and that's why they were running it on the PS5. Tim Sweeney from Epic actually described the PS5's memory system as God tier. In terms of the exact words he used was God tier. And so I'm not 100% on the details, but they were showing off. They made a little tech demo game thing, and it's got some like fancy schmancy spatial sound rendering, like where they were able to like take 3D audio renderings from like caves and stuff and map it into the actual objects in the game. I'm not gonna talk like I know what I'm talking about, but
okay, so like techie in me is like, this is stupid cool, right? Yeah. But like, I don't know, devil's advocate side of me is just like, I don't know if I need every game to look like real life. I mean,
I'm right there with you.
Think about every Nintendo game you've ever played, right? I have never once loaded up Super Mario Odyssey and been like, yeah, I could walk outside and it would look like that, right?
Right.
To some folks, games are an escape. And yeah, it could be super cool if you loaded up a super realistic game that has like hyper real Paris and you felt like you were fucking there. Mm-hmm. But I mean, sometimes life sucks and I don't want to be in life, and sometimes I want to be playing Nintendogs, right?
Of course.
So I mean, I'm super excited to see what folks can do with this, because I mean, if nothing less, this is just incredible tools for very talented and skilled and creative developers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm nervous. Like, I don't
Oh
need
yeah.
every game to be hyper realistic.
Well, and I'm right there with you. What I'd say for me, what this is going to be something that's going to be really cool to watch and see what what people create with it. But at the same time, it even they said it takes a massive amount of processing power to be able to load and unload the graphics they're showing. And they say it's going to work great on the PS5, but I don't know. They were talking about it, you needing a pretty high powered PC to get it to run as well.
I mean, and that's the other thing that I worry about. I mean, I love playing video games, and I am blessed enough to be able to both buy a lot of new video games and to be able to still, like, spend a lot of money on my friends that are Twitch affiliates and other things. But like, this is gonna suck if folks can't play new games because there's now a higher barrier to entry. Right.
Right.
Back in the day, video games for me were there was an arcade around the street, so you needed a quarter to play your first video game, or the Game Boy Color was, what was it, $40 or $60,
something like that. Yeah, no, it was not.
It was accessible, and folks could acquire and play video games. And yeah, there's a bunch of free stuff on Flash and other sort of cool games, but I mean, like, at the same time, I mean, Fortnite is awesome because you can run it on a fucking toaster.
Yeah, anything can run Fortnite.
So like, despite the fact that it took the waves and all of high school, like, you could belong. Like, I remember I had a friend in high school who couldn't play Call of Duty when Call of Duty was like the big game because he just didn't have an Xbox or he didn't have a PlayStation.
Hey, that was me. I was the guy.
And it's just like that's the dark side of when we get too nice and too expensive, is we price people out, and that's like, that sucks.
Yeah. They made one other little announcement with this with this trailer, or little release video, not release, tech demo is the word I'm going for. They are no longer, Epic Games will no longer be collecting royalties on the first $1 million in sales for games made with the new Unreal Engine. And I think this actually goes back to any games released after January of this year of 2020. They're gonna roll back, and because previously they collected 5% on anything that earned over $3,000 in sales. They're pushing that up now to 1 million for royalties for using the engine.
So what does that look like in terms of like time, though? I mean, if you have a couple of big AAA games use Unreal Engine, how fast does that eat up the bandwidth for like indie devs?
I couldn't tell you.
These are just curiosities that I'm having. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, to put this in perspective, I'm stoked as hell, but I also, like, anytime big things like this, I'm like cautiously optimistic about, because I mean, I work for a software company, and we've released tons of things that are incredibly awesome and are going to make a huge impact. And then when you go and talk to a customer about it, or you go and you're blindsided because you're only looking at the good of it. So I mean, I've started to sort of take off the rose-colored glasses and make sure I'm like really thinking through what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, in terms of rose-colored glasses, there's something else that happened. Something that I'm super excited about, but very, very nervous about. And if you guys didn't see and somehow missed the news, but a certain skateboarder just turned 52, and on his birthday, he took the time to announce that they were remastering Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And I am unbelievably thrilled and excited, but terrified at the same time.
For those of you who didn't play the original games, I mean, these were played on your Game Boy, basically. And these were like barely 3D games, right? I mean, you would play through a level where you were going right or left, and then you can go like deeper or shallower in the level to do your tricks. So to see the 3D remaster of this, I am so excited. I'm about to flip the table. But also, I just, there's a lot of nostalgia riding on this. So if the music doesn't slap super hard, and if they don't have the original soundtrack in there as well as new songs, if the characters aren't there, if if the levels don't remind me of the levels from Pro Skater 2, but also feel fresh, like I've got a lot of built up anticipation about it, and that's also something that can work against you.
Well, boy, howdy, do I have some good news for you. They're so what they're working on is they're releasing they're remastering the PS1 versions, I believe. And there's a very, very reliable studio when it comes to remasters, if you ask me. And it actually is a studio that worked on the Game Boy versions of these games, but they're remastering the 3D ones. It's Vicarious Visions is doing the remaster, and I mean, coming from someone, I thought the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was a fantastic remaster, and about as true to it as they could get on a modern console, with some tweaks, quality of life improvements. I know there were some complaints about movement, but they're handling the remaster, and what I can tell you that you are going to like is all of the original Pro Skaters are being included in the game, and all but a couple of songs from the original soundtracks are returning. They licensing issues on a couple of them, but the majority of the soundtrack is coming back. All the locations are coming back, and these are screenshots provided by Activision on the release, and boy, it looks beautiful.
I'm very excited. I mean, I think we joked about it, like or maybe I was talking to someone about it, but I was just like, you know what games haven't existed in a while? And I feel like I always have this conversation. I'm just like, let me get this on the record. Ape Escape and Sly Cooper Slap Hard. All right.
Yeah, when are we getting our Ape Escape? Come on, they could do an Ape Escape collection. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. It's still like hotcakes.
But we were literally talking about Underground the other day.
Yeah, we were. We were talking about Underground.
So like, I am always super excited to see when they like bring back games from our past, because these are games that like I spent countless hours as a child in, and formulated my opinion on what good level design and what an entertaining game looks like, right? I mean, this is what got me to pick out a skateboard and to fuck my shit up, right? Like, because I was terrible at it.
I still listen to like the entirety of the soundtrack for Underground, Pro Skater 2, Underground 2. I literally have like playlist upon playlist of just what I consider like Tony Hawk music, and people ask me like, what kind of music do you listen to? I'm like, Tony Hawk music. I listen to Tony Hawk music, man.
Like, that's the first music that I found for myself. My dad didn't pick it out for me, all right? Yeah. My second dad, Tony Hawk, did. I'm incredibly hyped about this. Again, cautiously optimistic. I've got a lot of nostalgia, so it's really easy to burn, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of a remake that I just really didn't like. I mean, I didn't get the new COD 4 remake, but I didn't feel the need to, because it's just like, fuck. And it's just, I'll just play COD 4.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Why do I need a remake of it? Master Chief Collection did a good job, but I think that the fact that they didn't roll out multiplayer all at once, especially for someone that's super excited to finally play it on PC, that kind of like, I'm just going to fucking wait till it's all out. Like,
I feel like I'm putting a long way to do it. Yeah, I feel like I'm putting a lot of faith in Vicarious Visions to pull this off. I mean, the game looks beautiful. They're saying it's going to go 4K graphics, 60 FPS. I mean, it should be. I mean, visually, we know it's going to look good. We know it's absolutely. I mean, the screenshots are incredible. But what I'm worried about is the Tony Hawk series has gone so downhill. I mean, Pro Skater 5 was a disaster. I mean, it still has like 1.5 stars on just about every game sales platform. So, this is now the first game, really, besides Link's Awakening, from my childhood that's getting the remake or remaster treatment. And
now remind me, you missed out on the like Resident Evil, Final Fantasy boat, right? Like
I did
7 remake.
So okay. I was I had my first, I had a Game Boy, was my first ever thing, and then I got a GameCube, a Game Boy Advance, then a GameCube, and I was then a Wii and a DS, the whole deal. I was a Nintendo kid through and through, and it wasn't until I didn't get an Xbox until I was a sophomore in college. I got an Xbox One. And then I got a PS4 slightly after that. So
see, I feel like I sort of did a lot of this in reverse because I mean, I had a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance when I was a kid, right? A lot of it was just that was inexpensive. But I also had a younger brother that was a year and a half younger than me. So the fact that they can get one Xbox or one GameCube and satisfy both of us was like pretty easy, right?
right.
So we had a PS1. We played all the originals on that. We had a PS2. We had a GameCube. Like between the two of us, we had enough birthdays and Christmas karma saved up to always have a couple games. And it was only when I went to college where I like finally got my first SNES and I bought Earthbound and got to play that and experience like the nostalgia of retro games when I could also appreciate it, right? Because I mean, when I was a scummy 13-year-old and I already had nicer games, nicer in air quotes.
Why would you want to go back?
It's hard to go back for SNES, right? But that's when I played Melee, and then I played Brawl, and I didn't play Smash 64 until I got to college. And then I just discovered that I was disgusting at it because Kirby is broken.
Kirby's very broken.
Like City. So in a lot of ways, like I did hit that like PS1, PS2, like Xbox and 360, like a lot of the classics there.
Right.
But even then, like most of it was like what me and my brother played, right? So like a lot of the shooters, like Call of Duty, a lot of the Nintendo games, we kind of skipped on Silent Hill, and I didn't get into Resident Evil until Resident Evil 4. So some of these games I missed out on, right? Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever played 7. I've been meaning to, and maybe I will soon. But fuck you, Badger. I don't want to talk. I figured you wouldn't,
but I do want to say, anyone who's interested, we did get a release date. It's going to be July 3rd.
So the big reason that I'm hating on this is because, like, Sony really fucked me on this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they announced the delay of Iron Man VR and The Last of Us together, which, like, let's say you're just an Iron Man VR fan, like, it's kind of like, well, fuck, it's not special enough to get its own tweet. And let's say you're just a The Last of Us fan, which is where I'm taking this from. Like, it's like, this is the most insincere way to fucking do this, especially considering The Last of Us had already been delayed. And it's now 7 years in the making. And, like, to group it with another game just felt really insincere. Yeah. So while I am excited about the, like, prospect of playing as Tony Stark, and this is probably the game that'll make me seriously consider VR, I just, like, it still leaves a sour note.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, on a personal note, coming from someone who was not a part of the Last of Us community, but now has kind of wormed my way in a little bit through through you. I gotta tell you, when I saw this tweet come out where they're like, "Oh, hey, we're really happy to announce that Iron Man VR is coming out in July. Look forward to it," and then just to have no new information. I got salty, and I've never played either game. So the final little story I have here today is boy howdy, new Paper Mario.
Oh, very excited about this.
I'm so excited. I'm intrigued, honestly. And when I
put the patty on, no, I need the smiley face.
Like we've seen with just about every other game that's released on the Switch. I mean, this thing looks beautiful. Why do you have braces?
I'm 14.
Okay, yeah. We're having a nostalgia trip here. So for me, Paper Mario was something where I actually didn't play. Like I still haven't played the first one. And I didn't play 1,000 Year Door until after I played Super Paper Mario, because I got it on the Wii, because that's what I had, and it was just not a series I knew about when I had a GameCube.
Badger, my finger was on the leave call button, so you saved yourself.
You're ready to dip. Yeah, great first show. I scared off my first guest. We're off to a great start here.
I mean. And I think part of we've already talked about this. Like, I can't judge anyone for like skipping out on great games, right? There's plenty of great games that I haven't played either. This game, though, I am very excited about. Again, nervous, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult to continue to do the same thing over and over again. I mean, look at 3D Marios, right? Every time they do a new 3D Mario, they try to like introduce a new element of it, right?
Right.
And in my mind, I think Galaxy was kind of a flop. I didn't really like it that much. 3D World, it was fucking awful.
Yeah. Yes. I'm with
Odyssey
you. I'm with you there. Odyssey.
Sunshine was great. But people didn't like Sunshine, right? And so, like,
Sunshine's one of my favorite games, and it pains me to see people not like it.
That's my worry about this. I mean, if they just threw this out there as like we're remaking the original, great. But they're making a new one.
Yeah.
So, like, what's new besides the fact that it looks like it wants to take my wallet?
Right. I was gonna say, besides it looking really good. Well, one of the things that I know is new is this the ring based combat mechanic, which is kind of intriguing to me because I haven't played there what like 3 games between 2 or 3 games between Super Paper Mario and this, and I haven't played any of them, so I don't know what combat has looked like. But you know, the first two had turn based RPG combat, and then you know Super Paper Mario then was a pseudo platformer.
It kind of feels like Superstar Saga to me, right? Where like they're just like really trying to shake up. And I did have to look up the name because I was just like going crazy trying to think about it. It feels like they're really trying to like do something to shake up the combat, which is safe, right? Like I think that the gameplay of Paper Mario, I think if you had to like pick a bone with it and try to pick a fight with it, combat's probably one area that they definitely could reimagine.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm intrigued by this you know system of lining up enemies in the ring to do extra damage. I'm not 100% on how it's going to work. And the other thing that they showed off, I don't have a screenshot of it, but they showed it off a bit in the reveal trailer where they where one of Mario's abilities is like what they call it, the 1,000-fold arms or something, where he can now interact with the environment, which looks like it's going to be kind of similar to like I don't know, Kirby's Epic Yarn, where you can grab the zippers and move them and stuff. It looks like it's going to be kind of similar to that. So I'm intrigued to see where they take it. But like Tony Hawk, this is a series that I've seen kind of go downhill, and I'm hoping that maybe this is the thing that turns it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? I could definitely see that. Just do something completely different, right? Like, you know, don't make a Mario Yarn World, right? You did Yoshi, it was great. You did Kirby, it was decent, but like, don't make a Mario Yarn World, right? This one is like, it's got me on the fucking edge of my seat because I'm super excited for another Paper Mario World. Because at the very least, as long as they don't cuck the story and make it so that the world building and world play in the games it isn't on the same level, like, I'll be happy with it. But like, you've got a lot of things that you can fuck up, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like folks feel like there's a formula to some of these games, but sometimes even if you stick to the formula, it can break just from like rust. So,
well, it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff, you know, we just went over there that's gonna be interesting to watch. You know, keep an eye on these things and really hope for the best. I saw Blue by the Wolf just pointed out in chat there, the gaming news has been the Krieg quote unquote reveal for Borderlands 3, and as a diehard Borderlands 2 fan, I am very, very excited. So that'll be another interesting thing to watch and see what happens. We got one final thing here. I got a little quick game I'd like to play with you, buddy. Give you a little opportunity to win a prize here. But before we do that, I do want to take a minute here, say thank you, Sarah and Mailcoat13 for the follows, and Pendra, thank you so much for gifting that tier 1 sub to Wandering Wolfie. I really appreciate that. Zach, let's play a little true or false. All right, I got 10 questions for you, and the answers, it's really simple. It's either true or false. If you can get 8 out of these 10 right, I'd like to offer you a t-shirt. I haven't figured out how to get the t-shirts thing working, but you will win a t-shirt at some point. In the meantime, I will make up for it. I'll gift a couple subs in your channel if you get 8 out of 10 of these right for me. All right.
All for pride, baby. Let's go. All for pride.
All right. Zach, true or false? An octopus has 4 hearts.
Is this the one you gave me a hint about? Because I totally forgot. False.
That is false. They actually have 3 hearts. They've got one that doesn't work while they swim, apparently. They have 2 that go to their gills and 1 that pumps to everything else. And so, yeah, apparently when they prefer to crawl because their main heart doesn't go while they swim. All right. Question number 2. Coffee, a favorite beverage of myself and many others. Coffee got its name from a Yiddish word for dark bean. Dark bean.
See, I mean, like, coffee, like, definitely has a lot of Middle Eastern roots, but I don't think Yiddish existed that long ago. Is it like... I'm going to go false here. It might be like a Yiddish ancestor word, but I'm going to go false.
It is false. Very good, Zach. It is an Arabic word. It comes from an Arabic word about how... It meant it was a word for a type of wine that you drink as an appetite suppressant. So it is from Arabic. So you got you're 2 for 2 right now, man. You're doing great. I
have a master's degree in Middle Eastern studies, so if I got that one wrong, I think I have to return the degree.
Oh, I did not know that, man. Yeah. I've learned a thing about you today, man. All right, well let's keep talking about coffee then. We got another question regarding coffee. A delicious combination of coffee and chocolate. The mocha gets its name from a town in Yemen.
I'm going true here.
True? It is true. All right. Yeah, it was apparently a very large hub for the coffee trade in the 1600s. That's where we get the name of the mocha, which I usually find to be too sweet. But I had a really good dark chocolate one the other day from a local coffee delivery.
I mean, ever since I grew up drinking just Dunkin' Donuts coffee, just like 2 creams, 2 sugars, because it was just like I just wanted coffee in high school. I didn't I needed to like get up for school or whatever, or because we were like debating on the weekends, and I obviously didn't sleep. But yeah, I currently drink my coffee black most days. If I'm feeling really adventurous, I'll put a little slice of butter in there. But
I was gonna say you and I have a very, very similar take on coffee, man. I usually I drink it black and occasionally do a little bulletproof. Depends on the day and how I'm feeling. All right, moving on.
No, butter and coffee is great. Butter and coffee is incredible. Because I see Pendra with the 800 question marks. All right, think about it this way. Coffee is like a bitter and slightly acidic drink, right? Obviously, it depends on the beans that you got and the roast level that you got. But like a little bit of fat cuts it really well. So like that's why you typically put cream or milk in it. But butter, really fat, and the salt actually does so much to the flavor of coffee.
It's fantastic.
Not only can you just like skip the buttered toast altogether, because like you can get some calories in your coffee, but it's such a great pairing.
No, I'm glad you're on the same page as me there, man. All right, moving away from coffee, let's talk animals. True or false? The Bengal tiger has the strongest jaw strength of any living animal. The Bengal tiger, strongest jaw strength.
That's gonna be false. It's like an alligator croc, right?
That is false. 4 for 4. You're I gotta write harder questions next time. Yes, the saltwater crocodile has the strongest bite at 16,414 newtons of pressure. So just destroy your skull with that.
Can we get some Riggs in chat? He shared me all the questions.
All right. That's 4 for 4. Let's go. Let's see if you can get 5 for 5 with in the 1928 Summer Olympic Games, John Daly won the gold medal for boxing for the United States. True or false?
Can I get that year one more time?
1928.
That was a year that the Summer Olympics happened, so I can confirm that.
Yep.
John Daly boxing US. Either this is a dumb thing, like he was a Canadian boxer. I'm going to go true here, though. I'm going to go true.
That is false. John Daly actually lost in the final bout against Vittorio Tomagini from Italy.
Yeah, I knew there was just one thing off.
All right, you're still doing 4 for 5. You're great. Well, you need you got to get out of the next 5, get 4 more. I believe in your ability to do this. All right. True or false? A sloth can hold its breath for up to 40 minutes.
That's true. They don't move, so they don't need to respirate that much.
That is true. But the actual reason is why it can hold its breath for so long is it's a very strong swimmer, but it can slow its heart rate down to do it. Sloths are Pendra just said sloths are weird.
Sloths are better than fucking octopi at swimming?
Yes.
What is this world?
Yeah, sloths are apparently one of the strongest swimmers and can hold its breath for longer than certain whales can. So all right. Completely changing. I guess it's still animal related a little bit. All right. So I'll give you the first bit of this is true. This isn't the question, but the term Triple Crown wasn't commonly used in the United States for winners of the Kentucky Derby, Preakness Stakes, and Belmont Stakes horse races until 1930. However, now this is true or false, the first Triple Crown winner was actually in 1927. True or false? First Triple Crown winner, 1927.
So I know at least some of those races were being run beforehand. Like, I want to say the Belmont Stakes has been run since like 1917 or something like that. But I don't think all 3 existed that long. So I'm going to go with false.
It is false, but not for your reasoning, but I'm giving it to you anyway. The first considered winner of the Triple Crown was actually Sir Barton in 1919. But it wasn't until 1930 that newspapers started calling winning all 3 the Triple Crown. All right, you got 3 more.
So, like, how long? What was the most recent of those 3 races? Like, what was the most recently invented? Do you know?
Man. Oh, well, here I can actually do a quick.
No, don't tell me. Chat.
I'm already on
actually,
it.
Badger, look it up. First one in chat that gets it right, I'll get to sub 2.
All right. First one in chat. To get a which one was
the most recently invented?
The most recently invented. Okay.
All right, we can let chat go. Do you want to give me question number?
All right, I've got the answer for that. But while we go through here, chat. First,
you're giving me years. I need a race.
which came first? Which is the most recently created? The Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, or the Belmont Stakes? Well, they figure that out. Let's keep talking about the Triple Crown. Actually,
Chat, you'd be so terrible at this quiz show, right? You have a 1 in 3. Literally, if 3 of you guess, one of you gets a sub.
All right. So the Seattle Slew won the Triple Crown in 1977, and then following 1977, there wasn't another winner of the Triple Crown until 2015.
'77 to 2015.
Yeah, there was no true or false. There were no winners between 77 and 2015.
That's true, because within the last couple of years, there have actually been like a surprising amount of them.
There have been a surprising amount of them, but it is false. A firm won in 1978. And someone got in chat, the Kentucky Derby. I see Laura got it first. Laura's already got one, but Clutch got it directly after. The Kentucky Derby was first raced in 1875. The Preakness Stakes was 1873, and the Belmont Stakes was actually in 1867. So congratulations on getting that. Dish Soap, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime. 6 months. I cannot believe that. That's 6 months. And of course, Phoenix, thanks for gifting that sub to Clutch for getting that little trivia fact there.
It's an interactive game, chat. We're on Twitch after all. I mean,
all right. Look, you got 2 more questions here. You got 2 more questions, and you're gonna have to get both of them right. Think you can handle that?
Chat, you gonna carry me? How's your back feeling, chat?
Probably a lot better than mine. Okay. Well, don't worry. There's no more questions about horse races. In fact, our next couple questions are actually about trains. Crazy enough, or more specifically, a train station.
Yes, like good. My I have my PhD in trains, Badger.
So, well, here we go. I feel like you might get this one. In Tokyo, there's a very, very famous train station, Shinjuku Rail Station. Very large, one of the busiest traveling train stations in the world, of course. But true or false, it was actually first built in 1885 as a very small rural stop. Now, if you're not familiar with Shinjuku, it is in the heart of the busiest, it is the busiest train station in Japan. But true or false, it was a rural stop in 1885.
When did Japan get trains, chat? Fuck. I'm trying to think American and proxy it over. I'm gonna go false though.
Oh, I am so sorry to say this. That is true. It was not a commercial hub until the mid 1900s. But
all right, give me the last one. Let's see. I gotta do better than Sucrose.
All right, you're gonna try to do better than Sucrose. All right. So let me give you. This is unfortunately you are not a winner, but I'm hoping to get you back on here again, give you another chance. All right, another question about Shinjuku. In 2007, Shinjuku Station had 1 million people going through it daily.
I mean, that's true, right? Maybe there's one day they didn't. No, it's true.
That, my friend, is false. They had 3.64 million people going through the station daily in 2007.
Oh, it wasn't at least? Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
But I'll give you that. I mean, you're still here 6. We'll give you 6 and a half. We'll give you 6 and a half.
Now this was Badger. Okay. If you have 12 eggs in your fridge, you also have 2 eggs in your fridge.
Okay, well, I'm trying to give you an extra point here, and you're fighting me on it.
I'm saying I'm in the right. It did have 1 million people.
You know what? Sure. All right, that's fine. You get 7. You got 7 out of 10.
Am I wrong, chat? Am I wrong? Did 1 million people get on the train that day?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'll give him the point. He still didn't win, though.
This is why you're not a school teacher, Badger.
There's a lot of reasons why I'm not a school teacher. I do not have the patience for children.
I don't have the filter for them, so. Oh, have I ever told you the story about how I almost got in trouble when I was substitute teaching?
No.
Okay, this is a good one.
Oh,
so,
I'm thrilled.
I literally, someone was like, there's this kid that was giving me problems, and everyone in the class saw that he was giving me problems. Mm-hmm. I tried the strategy of just ignore him, right? And then, oh my god, the worst kid. Fucking middle schoolers right now, they're terrible. Terrible. They're worse than fucking Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Not Twitch chat in this media. I mean the Twitch chats in fucking Ludwig's channel, right? And so one of the other kids was like, yo, I don't know his name, Tommy, stop being a smartass. And I literally just said, well, you're half right. And we just left it there. Luckily, my aunt was the principal at that school, so she pulled me out and she was like, did you call a kid a dumbass? I'm like, no, I just said he wasn't a smartass. That was only half right. She was like, I would have done the same thing. So
Oh jeez, man. All right, well that's all I have for today. Zach, I do want to say thank you so much for being here, being the first guest, and helping me kind of test drive this new format. I am so sorry you didn't quite get that prize, but we'll give you another chance soon. I know people would be thrilled to have you back on.